Gladiator II is a direct sequel to Ridley Scott's original 2000 historical drama epic of the same name, and follows the story of Maximus Aurelius' son and his ensuing journey back to Rome. So this was a movie I had been excited about for quite some time, ever since the trailer dropped back. I'm not quite sure when. I mean, this movie has been rumored about for almost 25 years now, ever since the first one came out, and it's finally coming to us. So obviously a lot of anticipation there. But for me personally, I didn't get really too excited about it until I saw the trailer and really engaged with it. I felt like it was the type of movie that I really tend to gravitate towards. And plus, Ridley Scott has been very silently coming back to form recently. I think that he had a bit of a slump. I don't know. Alien Covenant was such a nothing movie for me, and he had been kind of misfiring even before then. So I was ready to kind of be done with him, write him off, just be like, okay, he's not the worst director in the world, but a lot of great, auteurs end up slipping and kind of fizzling out towards the end of their careers. And I was just ready to accept that he was going to be another victim of that. But I don't know, recently with The Last Duel, I think back in 2021, I enjoyed that movie. I thought it was pretty good for what it was. Not anything groundbreaking, not anything like, out of the park amazing, but it definitely was a return to form, and it was definitely something that I wanted to see more of, and something I wouldn't mind him going, down that path. And then last year we had Napoleon, which I really ended up liking. I think that it was one of the year's most underappreciated movies. So when I saw he was returning with a sequel to Gladiator, and it looked as great as the trailer made it look, and all of the actors involved, which is what mainly people are talking about, the three-headed dragon kind of Paul Mescal, Pedro Pascal, and Denzel Washington all being involved, which is such a crazy notion in and of itself. I got excited, and rightfully so, I think. This movie, though, it delivered on everything I wanted it to be. I don't think it's as great as I wanted it to be necessarily. I don't think it really reaches the heights of the original, for one, or really my high expectations for the movie, but that's not its own fault, and I ended up getting a lot of what I really wanted from it. To start off, all of the performances are fantastic in my eyes. I think that all three of the main stars who I just mentioned really come into their own here. Pedro Pascal is kind of doing the least because he has the least amount of screen time, but I do really think his character is interesting. I think what he's doing is kind of an extension of more of his serious work, and he nails what he has to do. Paul Mescal really shines here and shows that he can be a leading man in pretty much anything. I remember watching All of Us Strangers earlier this year and being absolutely floored by how tender and how human he can be in more emotional type movies. Same with Aftersun, which I saw for the first time this year. But seeing him in this kind of role, this kind of domineering action star, a man of few words, somebody who leads by his actions and doesn't get to shine through with a ton of personality. I think this could have easily been a very wooden and flat performance from somebody else, but he really shines here. He really comes into his own as a leading man, and it was a sight to see. Denzel Washington is getting the most praise for his performance, and I'm going to have to agree with that. I think he absolutely controls the screen every time he's in a scene. I think that he just has this magnetism to him throughout the entire movie, and you can tell he's having so much fun in this role, being this like slimy, manipulating, evil ruler. He weasels his way into power in such a satisfying and engaging way to watch. It really is impressive how much range Denzel has and how fantastic he is in every role. So yeah, huge props to him. I don't know if he'll get any Oscar buzz for this. I hope he does, but we shall see. I think that one of the main kind of talking points of this movie are going to be the action scenes, because they are, the main event here. They are center stage, and they are what you came for, and they deliver. They deliver, they deliver, they deliver. There are some beautiful sequences in this movie that get your heart pumping, that really use the best of the visual effects that they were given. I think that the CGI in here actually, doesn't look too bad. They don't overly use it. I think that this was just kind of the grand epic action film that we really needed out of Gladiator II. And it again, like I was saying earlier, completely delivers in that aspect. Where the movie falls short for me, and a lot of other people are saying this, and I'm finding myself agreeing with them, is the story. I think that it is incredibly flimsy. I think that this movie needed more of a structured arc. Big epics like this can be convoluted. They can be, have several different storylines going on at once, but they need something to interweave them, and they need a very seamless transition between the different plot points. If you look at Dune 2 from earlier this year, that effectively pulled that off super well. But with this movie, I think that it just got too muddled. I think that it wanted to take the story in several different directions, and it didn't quite tie up all those directions neatly. I think that it all kind of comes to a cataclysmic mess at the end, and we're left a little unsatisfied if you aren't just there for the big action set pieces and the cast being awesome. So I was left a little disappointed with that. And then some of the editing I really didn't enjoy. I think that it kind of ruins the pacing of the movie in places. It's very choppy, and is almost edited like a TV episode. Like I was getting very much like late season Game of Thrones editing in this, and that's obviously not a good thing. So yeah, it made the whole look and feel of the quieter moments in this movie just off. It was just off for some reason. The rhythm of it was very off, and obviously that is attributed to pretty shoddy editing. Other than that, though, I don't have too much to complain about, nor really praise. This was just a really fun, epic action film. It gave me exactly what I wanted. It's leaving me a little bit underwhelmed because there wasn't really a semblance of a great story. There wasn't really an attempt. It was just kind of doing fan servicey stuff, and then audience pleasing, sweeping, action set pieces, which is fine, which I liked a lot. It's certainly better than like something like Alien Romulus, where that movie was actively being hampered by the fan service. With this one, it's not overly on the nose enough to really annoy you, but it's there if you want it, if that makes sense. But yeah, I wish this movie could have gone a little bit above its pay grade and given us a really good arc, or given us making the twists and turns a bit more subtle and thought out and planned out. But at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter. This movie delivers on what I wanted it personally to be. It'll deliver for a lot of audiences, and I think that this is going to be a pretty big hit coming into kind of like the holiday season / award bait season, as I call it. Anyway, Gladiator II is a fun time. I would go see it again. It's a movie that I feel like is great to see with a crowd. So yeah, I'm going to give Gladiator 2 a strong 3.5 out of 5. Thank you so much for listening and watching to this review. I will be back, not sure when, but I am going to see Wicked with my grandmother, so maybe I'll review that. And then obviously December is a huge month. We have like 9 different new releases coming in on Christmas for whatever fucking reason. But yeah, stay excited for that. And then we have, like a big roundup review that I'm doing, in the process of writing that. We have all of the year-end stuff, and then when everything kind of dies down in January, really going to focus on that big Game of Thrones video essay to get to you guys. So look forward to all of that and more. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share to your friends if you are enjoying what you're seeing, and I will see you with the next review. Thank you so much.